What is good, guys? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. No countdown today because it's a big match preview, and I want to get straight into it because I have my guy who only comes on for big matches. He's my big matches guy. Siavush, how you doing, my man?
All good, all good. Happy to be on again. I think last time I came on was for the Super Cup, right?
Yeah,
Or maybe the
exactly.
Juve game. I don't remember, but still,
It was definitely a Juve game, but
yeah,
I think it was just the cup. I think it was just the league Juve
yeah,
game.
yeah. So good to be back. The chat is already on fire. It's going to
Always.
be a good episode.
Of course, bro. Of course, man. It's oh man, I'm excited, but I'm also like really nervous because I feel like this is even we've had some big derbies already this season. Like both of the Derby d'Italias have been massive, but I feel like this one for me now is because there's a it's a final, there's a cup on the line. So for me, this is the biggest Derby d'Italia of the season. Well, what do you think?
Yeah, and I'd say the cup is like honor wise is worth more than the Super Cup.
Hmm.
So I think the cup is a heavier title, and I think that like Juve can actually more or less save their season if they win this. And I think if Inter win it, even if you lose the Scudetto, it's going to hurt. But if you end up doing two titles, second place into the last game, I think that's more than anyone would have thought in the end in the summer, right? Because a lot of people had counted this team out. So I think this trophy is worth a lot, and honestly, is good because it's not like Juve comes for it just like having won something. It's a match that's worth nothing. The only thing I can complain on is it's in the middle of the season. It should
Yeah,
have been
why
played
did
after.
do you know what the reason for that is? Because I haven't figured it out. Because why didn't they just wait till the end of the season to play
Yeah.
this?
I honestly I think it has something to do with the Nations League like starting quite quickly, so the players have to get vacation. But honestly, I think this game should have been played, the day before or after the Champions League finals, or at the time slot before, because
Yeah.
honestly, the two teams, even if it wasn't Inter, right? Even last year, I remember Atalanta, I think played Juve, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
then Atalanta was going to play Milan in the decider for the Champions League, and they had played a cup final and lost a couple of days before, and they came totally drained. So I think that this game honestly should be played at the end of the season. It's especially a year when there's no World Cup or no Euros. It's
Yeah, that's why
doesn't make
I'm
sense.
more confused by it because I would have understood if there was Euros or something going on, but
Yeah, it is what it is.
yeah, it is what it is. And yeah, what do you make of like the like in terms of the importance of the cup? Like I feel like in the live chat, everyone's putting some respect on it, but I feel like everyone's kind of underrating the importance of a Coppa Italia final because for me, we haven't been in the Coppa Italia final for like what is it, 11 years now. So for me,
Yeah.
this is like massive. Like this is a cup that we've missed for a long time, and I don't think we should underestimate the importance of it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think both the Cup and the Super Cup make more sense when you're winning other titles and finishing in the Champions League places. Like I
Hmm.
had this argument with Milan fans before this season, right? Where I
Yeah,
said the Super Cup is less worth than making the Champions League, right?
yeah,
Because they were always saying Inter had won a title for 10 years, and in my opinion, it's more worth to go to the Champions League than win a Super Cup once in 10 years,
yeah,
and then miss out on the Champions League. And honestly, they played the Super Cup just because they lost the final, right? I
yeah.
think so. In that case, I think the Cup and the Super Cup only make sense when you are winning titles, and this is a part of it,
Hmm.
because Inter is here because they made it here, but they are adding that to making the Champions League, winning the
Yeah.
Scudetto, winning the Super Cup.
Hmm.
Juve is here because they won last season. They want to win a title this season, and this could save their season. So and also the other, like, because teams like Inter, Juve, and Milan has to win titles. I
Hmm.
think Inter and Milan went too long without winning consistently,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
so now, like, this cup means less. But for the smaller teams like Atalanta, like Lazio, like Roma, this is a historical game. I don't think it's historical for Inter, but I'll remember the season as one of the best seasons if we go win two titles. So
100%.
it's obviously an honorable game, and the game that you have to go for the win.
Yeah, no, we have to. Of course, we are. It's a final. You have to go for the win, but it's Juventus, guys. It's Juventus. You
Yeah.
have to. There's no way that even if it's like a preseason friendly, you gotta go for the
It's
win
fun
against
because
Juventus.
we used to play these finals against, like, we did Palermo last time, and then it was always Roma. So
Yeah.
we never played this kind of game against Juve or Milan. Yeah, the Super Cup, I think 2011 was against Milan, but it was mostly because if Inter won the league, Roma went and won the cup, then they faced in the Super League and Super Cup, and everything was fine. But this is like massive, massive game.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, I looked into it. This is only the Inter and Juventus have only played each other in the final, the Coppa Italia final, 3 times, which sounds crazy because you think Inter and Juve probably faced off loads of. Or this, I can't remember if this is the third time or they have faced 3 times, but yeah, it's not that many times at all. So you're spot on there, which is yeah, funny when you think about it. Who's in the house? Let me just give a quick shout out to people: Paul Gran, Marcello, Kulibaba, Adriano, Nicola, Emira, King Darian, Harry, Peach, Sendo, Javier, loads of people from Twitter, Balkan Warrior. So thank you everyone that's joined in. Make sure you're leaving a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel if you're new or if you're coming off Sia's Twitter. Of course, if you don't know about Sia, you should know, so follow him on the Twitter. But let's get into the match preview, bro. I've prepared a couple of things. So the last 6 matches against Juventus, it's very even. 2 wins for Inter, 2 draws, and 2 wins for Juventus. This is including the Coppa Italia games we had last season against them. So going into this is really hard to split the 2 teams, and even the last few games we played against them has been very, very close affairs. And I mean, the last game, you could have said that Inter didn't deserve to win, but we got the win in the end.
Yeah, I was thinking the funny thing is, like, the games where Inter played their best, like the 1-2 in the cup where Handanovic and Bastoni did what they did, but it was like proper, domination, to be honest, from Inter the whole game when they ended up losing. I mean, the 3-2 game should have been at least a draw, probably even more.
Mm-hmm.
The 1-1 game should have been a bigger win than 1-0.
Yeah.
The Super Cup as well, I think Inter dominated.
Yeah.
And the worst game, like that, one of the worst games in this recent period, was the one that Inter actually won, like a historical win, first time in 9 years since Giamaccioni. So I honestly can't make any sense of this result. I just said, like, I remember last time I was here, everyone was counting out Juve, right? Everyone was saying Juve is so bad, Inter should win this 2-0, 3-0, and I was trying to calm people down because honestly, Juve's record against Inter is kind of embarrassing for Inter, right? Because they have won so many games at home, away. It's incredible. So they've always had like the upper hand. So it's going to be even, and it's very difficult to predict. I just feel that this team is in a good place mentality-wise to go out and do well. They might not win, but I think they will do well, and I think it will be a different game from both the Super Cup game where I felt Inter were so much better, and both the league game where I felt Juve was so much better. So I think it's going to be more even, and the individual quality will come through, and the set pieces.
Yeah, and I felt like in terms of the last game was crazy. Like in terms of it was a good game to watch for like just the like all the drama going on, but it wasn't a good game of football. But yeah, as you said, Juve were definitely much better in that game. So what do you expect? Someone asked, what do you expect in terms of Allegri? Last time we basically Inzaghi out Allegri. So what do you expect in terms of the game? How do you feel like Inter will approach, and how do you think Allegri will approach? I've got this screenshot here that kind of shows like Juve had 8 players at one point, just like attacking, which you never see pretty much from Allegri's Juve this season. And it didn't pay off, funnily enough. So what do you expect? Do you expect this type of Juve, or do you expect something a bit more balanced?
Yeah, this is fun because they're like 8 and Inter is 6. So it's not like it's a counter attack. And is that Chiellini up top?
Delict,
Yeah,
Delict and
Delict, yeah,
Chiellini.
yeah. So it's probably after a corner or something, or
Yeah.
yeah.
But as in like they
So
stayed up.
yeah, I think it'll be a battle, right? And
Mhm.
it's a final, so it's worth more. I'm not. I can't like. I think Juve in front of their fans at home, they wanted to show and go for the title, the
Mhm.
Scudetto, and they made the most of it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I think it's going to be a bit more different because since it's a final, the teams usually start a bit slow. I think Inter has been very good in the start, except the Empoli game, but they usually come out fire, right? And I think they did against Empoli as well, but they let in 2 goals. But I think in this game, Inter will want to show we are here, we are boss, we are champions, we won the Super Cup, we want to win again. So I expect Inter to come out really well and really aggressively, and I expect Juve to be more like Inter was at Juventus Stadium, battling hard, tackling hard,
Yeah.
and so that's more or less. I think that Inter will have the upper hand. I think
Mhm.
Inter will be the better team, and I think Juve will wait to strike, and we will see if it plays out that way, because I don't expect Juve to play as well as they did the last time, and I don't expect Inter to be as bad as they were last time. So I really think that Inter will have a good performance in them this game.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I think Allegri is gonna go back to kind of a bit more balanced approach. I think he saw last time it didn't work for him, going all out, he went like full, he went like Dybala, Vlahovic, Morata, like he went full all of the
Yeah,
guys that he had, he went full out. I think so this time he might pull the handbrake a little bit to just have it a little bit more balanced. And they have a few injury issues as well, which they've had all season as well, Juve, which must be
yeah,
said. They've had, obviously, not a great season, but at the same time, we must say that they've had a very injury-ridden season. And this is the predicted lineup according to Sport Media Set, and it's showing that once again he's going. If he goes for this 4-2-3-1, pretty much the same lineup that he went in that game against us: Dybala, Cuadrado,
yeah,
Morata behind Vlahovic. So very, very strong lineup. And Rabiot, remember that game? He had a very good
yeah. It
game.
was very good. Yeah,
So what do you make of that lineup? Chiellini coming back as well in the starting lineup.
yeah. So there's going to be a lot of cheap free kicks for Chiellini, but no, I think this is one of probably their best lineup. I'd say maybe Pellegrini, Alexandro on the day one is better than the other, but I think this is, except Chiesa, right? This is more or less the best team that they can field, and the balance is obviously, like, the difference is made usually by Cuadrado, right? Because he's the guy who comes down and goes up, so he's a bit of the balance player, and then Dybala and Vlahovic are the ones who're supposed to do it on the attack, and Morata is good on the break. I think they have good players. They have a good lineup. They don't play awesome, but if Vlahovic has a better day, he might bury one or two. If Dybala has 1 second, he might bury one or two. And Cuadrado is obviously another epic game against Perisic coming up. So this is I thought they'd win the league this year, and they obviously won't. But this is a really good team, and they have a lot of different player types in here. Like, there's a lot of players that could come through and do something for the final. I think they have more individual quality in the attack than Inter has, right? Like Dybala, Morata, Cuadrado, Vlahovic, super good players. I think Inter relies a lot on Perisic, relies a lot on Lautaro Martinez, and Correa and Dzeko we have to see. So this is a really good team. It will be a really difficult game, but I feel Inter has good momentum, good confidence, and I think it's going to be a great match tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%. What do you make? Actually, one quick question to you from me. This is where's Cuadrado in your hate ranking? Because he was my number one most hated player, but I feel like Theo Hernandez is taking him over. Where is he sitting now?
So the thing with Cuadrado that I have is that I actually think he's a good player, right?
He's annoyingly good.
Yeah, I actually rate him so much that, and honestly, I think in the Inter Juve games he's gotten better. I think it's more frustrating to see. I love Chiellini, like great player. Italy, he was a great guy, but when he dives and get the free kicks, like everyone knows it's not a free kick, and he gets it. It's frustrating to see. I
Bro,
must
that
say,
goal, that last season,
yeah,
Lautaro, that
yeah,
overhead.
the
Oh
bicycle
my
kick,
god.
yeah, and they canceled the own goal because they thought he should have a free kick, and then the VAR went in to correct it. But I think Cuadrado has improved, right? I think this season I haven't been bothered by him so much, so he's gone down a bit.
Yeah,
I'd say,
even Perisic, I feel like used to really hate him,
yeah,
but I feel like in the last few games, I
yeah,
see them like doing handshakes and like
yeah.
hugs here and there.
It's probably like they said, guys, let's play well, let's not dive, and let's battle it out. And it's like, okay, but I don't have that feeling towards Cuadrado anymore. I think I'm more triggered by Theo, but I consider Theo a big winner. Like every team needs that kind of player, so I always respect the players who do the extra thing to win. But
100%.
yeah, it's more frustrating to see Theo than Cuadrado for me at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's so you agree with me. He's overtaken Cuadrado now
Yeah,
in the hate
he's
rankings.
the new guy.
Juve fans coming into the house, thank you for coming through, George. He's saying that Alexandro will win us the match. Of course,
Yeah.
I've got the screenshot here of Alexandro doing us a favor. Thank you, George, for giving me the assist for that. And then, of course, Alexis Sanchez coming in. Hey, amigo, campioni sono così.
Yeah.
And then he disappeared after that. So it's like that's the last thing. Or actually, he scored that goal against Roma.
Yeah, then I got the red
goal.
card against Liverpool as well.
Yeah, and then he's been downhill for Alexis.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something. I really think Alexis was good until this moment, and then I really think he done worse. But Alexander, of course, huge error there, like in the 120th minute, and with Chesney being a penalty specialist, we shouldn't forget that. I really think Juve would have brought it home if they went to the penalties. So yeah, big error from him. Good from Darmian to believe, and I think good from Alexis as well to put it away. But yeah, I think that moment, it's honestly, a player on this level shouldn't do that. But that's what happens when you play 120 minutes of football,
Exactly. And we've got other Juve fans who are being goofy, who are saying hoping for 120 minutes.
Yeah.
No, 100% no, please, because we've got the massive game against Cagliari coming up, who are fighting for their life.
Yeah.
We do not want 120 minutes, or I see it like
especially because it's an away trip to Cagliari. That's waiting. It's a flight. It's a stuff like that. I see someone is asking me consistently about Barella's dive. So for I want to say one thing. Like I really don't like when Inter plays dive. It disgusts me. Like honestly, I think Barella is not a diver. I think he exaggerates, right? Because he doesn't usually throw himself or fall without the contact.
And he really goes like that. Empoli, but he did a bloody front flip.
And honestly, against Empoli, so this is going to be unpopular, but I think it would have been a penalty if he didn't exaggerate as much. Because the reason I think that he falls in the way he does is that he knows I have to show there is a contact here to get the penalty.
Yeah.
And I have a problem with this in football because I've seen many times, players get kicked and stand up and they don't get the penalty or dragged or, anything. They stand up, they don't get the penalty. They take a shot from worse position, worse balance. They don't get anything. But a player who gets the slightest touch, goes to the VAR, falls down, and, it's a penalty. I think Barella, what he does is he wants to show the referee, hey, this was a huge push with two hands, But I'm all for not giving the penalty when you exaggerate that much, So, and I want to say that about Barella because I'm seeing a lot of people saying he dives a lot. I really don't think he dives without contact. I think he exaggerates. I don't like to see it. But he's also probably the most fouled player in Serie A. So, you have to protect yourself some way.
Yeah, I mean, this is modern football, and so many players do that as well. But like, yeah, I think he needs to just get the balance right between how much he like makes it look and how much actually happened. I think is like, I think referees.
Funny thing is, I'm always scared he's injured when he does this thing.
Yeah, bro.
Because
But
I feel like, oh my god, he died,
Yeah.
he's dead, but then he goes on. So,
but I've stopped now. Like since last season, I'm like anything. I don't even take a look. I'm like, yeah, he's fine. Even the other day with the knee, everyone was worried. I was like, you know who this guy is? It was just a bruise, but he's a machine as well, like physically. Yeah, thank you for coming through, Tim. Thank you very much, my boy from L'Equipe. Yeah, going back to the lineup there quickly once again. Dybala, we got to talk about Dybala, bro. Lots of questions coming through about Dybala. People are saying he's a double agent. Is he going to score our own goal for us? Is he going to celebrate if he scores for them? Like, what do you make of the Dybala rumors? First of all, do you think it's a good addition to the Inter team? And then we can move on to like, what do you think he's going to do in this match?
So I if you can get Dybala for free from Juve, it's a dream signing for Inter. I have criticized Dybala a lot in the last few years because I think he hasn't gotten his potential out on the field. I think he has under-delivered both in goals and in assists and in performance.
Yeah.
So that I think has to be said. With that said, if you can add Dybala to Inter for free, you pay the wages, of course. It would be a massive addition. Would be a really good signing. I think there's a lot of things talking for him coming to Inter. I'm not sure he wants to betray Juve. I think that he really cared about them. I think that he was like really fond of them. He was the captain. They wanted to renew his contract. But if he chooses to come to Inter, I think it's because he feels betrayed because he had an agreement and they took it away.
Yeah.
And that's that. I'm not sure he will come. I think he there's a good chance he will. I think there's also a good chance that he will say, no, I want to remain faithful to you. I've been a captain here. I don't want to do this move. But with that said, for Inter, it would be great to have a player like this because I think Inter this year has struggled a lot with low defenses and low blocks. And, you need a player who can invent something out of nothing, who can keep the ball, land the counterattack, who can take free kicks, who can take shots from outside the box. And I think that none of Inter strikers really scores shots from outside the box. I mean, Sanchez did it once, but the other guys are not really there. So I think that he would be a massive addition. Also, he's a left foot. You need a left foot. I'd be a bit worried because, if you have Lautaro, Correa, and Dybala, you have three Argentinian players. So you're going to have to pray every time Argentina is playing. But yeah, you can probably resolve that in other ways. I would love to see him at Inter. As for the game tomorrow, he's a professional player. He played really well in Juventus Inter. He will play really well tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if he was decisive, if Juve has to win the game. And I really think that he will celebrate if he scores. And I think that it's not disrespectful against Inter if he celebrates. I think it would be more disrespectful against his own fans if he didn't.
Oh yeah,
the game.
That would be crazy.
So at the moment, he's a Juve player, professional, paid by Juve, and he should do his best for Juve. I really think that's that. So yeah, I think he will do very well tomorrow.
Yeah, no, and he scored against us already this season. The penalty in the first game, which obviously was the soft penalty on Dumfries, but yeah, he usually has some good games against Inter over the years. George, the Juve fans, predicting a 2-0 win for Juve. Yeah, not sure about that one, mate. Yeah, like people are talking about his, and I've been talking about his injury record as well. But it's true, like he has actually pulled up like decent in level of like appearances this season. Like when you look at it, Sean says he's played 35 games, so it is worrying his injury record, but it's not like Stefano Sensi level.
No, it depends on who you have behind him, right? because if he's injured 1 week here and there or 1 month here and there, but the backup is Lautaro and Correa and someone else, you're okay. You know, if he's the guy that he was at Juve, you know, the guy with the 10 on his back, he has to be the one guy that delivers the big star. Then you have a problem. And also, like, he's soon 30, you know, he's going to be out. But at Inter, there's so many games to play, and at Juve as well, of course. But I'm not worried about that, because I honestly think that if you're not spending a big amount of transfer money on this guy, any game he plays is a plus.
Yeah. He's a tricky one, but Marotta loves the guy. We know he's the one who brought him, and I think
he brought him from Palermo to Juve, right? And he did it in front of Inter's eyes back then. So yeah.
So I think I wasn't convinced that he's coming, but the fact that the rumors are so insistent, it looks like it doesn't really look like Dybala has too many offers on the table, to be honest, because he doesn't want to move. Apparently doesn't want to move to England or like any other country.
His girlfriend, I remember I read that she said something like Turin is boring, and you know. So I think Milano, for like young couple, offers a lot more, even if it's only 1 hour away. You know, these guys probably had drivers and stuff, but still, if you live in Milano and if you have the Argentinian gang, the Asado gang that Inter has, I really think that, you know, it can make a difference family wise. And you know, you don't want to move, you want to stay. I think this is a good move, because that was it. I really hope Inter can pull that off, because it would also give me like a safe feeling for the future, and also would be kind of fun to see the reactions from the Juventus fans.
Yeah, the tears would just make it worth 100%.
Yeah,
because he literally he's the vice captain this season, isn't he? So it's like, wow. I think you're probably actually Chiellini's playing tomorrow, so he's not gonna be wearing armband. But it's a big statement if we get Dybala from them. Let's move on to Inter's team, bro. We've talked about these guys enough, too much. Let's get straight into the main point that everyone, you know, always wants to talk about. You know, the rest of the team pretty much picks itself if Bastoni's fit, he's gonna play. Up front, bro, who do you want to start? Dzeko, Lautaro? I think I've always said if it's a final tomorrow, I've said this since the beginning of the season, Inzaghi's gonna play Dzeko, Lautaro, even though it hasn't shown to be a good chemistry partnership, and it looks like he's going for it tomorrow. Who would you go for?
I'd go for this. I don't like this partnership. I football wise, I think
I want to know who likes this partnership. Inzaghi.
They are too alike in what they want to do, not the characteristics, not the way they play, nothing, but the way they want to play, the instinct that they have when their head says, I want to do this, is very alike. So they kind of take the same spaces and positions, and I think that is a problem. With that said, I think you also have to, for the final, think about what happens if. So I think it always makes sense to throw on Correa if you're in the lead, if you're down, if you're doing something. I think it makes sense to throw on Alexis if you're chasing something, you know. I don't think it makes sense to put on Dzeko, like if you're down or if you're up. I think that even though he now assisted in that game, you know, he's the type of player that I wouldn't throw on from the bench. So I think it makes sense that he starts. Also, he isn't so physically strong and wins so many duels, but he's a big guy.
And I think he's kind of just run out of juice. I think he was doing that at the beginning of the season, but I think in the second half now he's just like dusted.
And I think he will be needed for taking one of Chiellini and De Ligt. And I think he does really well sometimes when he comes down and, you know, distributes. He hasn't done it well the last few games. He's lost quite a lot of balls. He's kind of reminded me of Alexis. But, you know, it's still Dzeko, still a big player, still a guy who I trust. With that said, I wouldn't complain if Correa edged it, but I think that Dzeko will start. And I think he will do well. I think Lautaro is the main guy again, which makes me feel good at least.
Yeah.
He's he's in great form. He's doing what he should. The numbers are there, the performances are there, his hunger is there, the technique is there. So I think he's the main guy, and I honestly the only one who should be safe with his place in the starting 11 in the attack. So yeah, I think this is how it's going to be. But I wouldn't complain if Correa got a start.
Yeah, no, I personally would start. I would start Correa because I just even the Empoli game, he didn't play well, Correa. But I just feel like if you look back at the goals that Lautaro scored, he scores those because of the movements. Because Correa takes up positions that Lautaro can then go in to score the goals. Whereas, yeah, as you said, with Dzeko and Lautaro, it seems like they just take up each other's spaces, or they just they're not on the same wavelength. And yeah, I just don't want to see Dzeko Lautaro, to be honest. I don't want to see those the two partnerships I don't want to see is when Inzaghi puts Correa and Sanchez like at the end of games, because that means like we're playing with like no strikers, and then Dzeko Lautaro.
Yeah, I really don't understand why he sometimes doesn't just give Lautaro extra 5 minutes to play
just
with
the
someone
full
else.
90.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and going back to Lautaro, bro, like, do you feel like, you know, he's been criticized a lot this season? I criticized him, but I feel like it was justified criticism. Like, what do you make of Lauti's season this year?
So the thing I have with Lautaro, and I have backed him when many criticized him, is pure like personality wise, because I always tend to respect the players who stay when others jump ship a lot more. Of course, Samir Handanovic is an exception. No, I'm just kidding. I respect him as well. But I think Lautaro, he had confirmed offers from Tottenham and Arsenal, big money offers. But I think he chose to stay, and not only with words, he signed a new contract. So whatever happens, Inter, if they chose to sell him, they get a lot of money for it.
Yeah.
With that said, I think Inter can't afford to have Lautaro go so long without scoring. I think no striker is allowed that much of a period. I don't doubt Lautaro's qualities. Like, I really think that he's better than many think. I think that he is more efficient than many think, because, you know, you see his big misses and you say, yeah, he misses a lot of chances. But I think he's at his best in the box. And there are few people who think that about him. And I think that's where he's supposed to be. But I think that when Inter were at their worst, the chances weren't created with the same ease. And I think he's having, I would say he was having the best season ever. But I think those months where he went missing are not good enough, you know. I just think that's you're not allowed to have that moment. And even though he's young still, we forget that often. He's what, 23, 24? So he's young, he's hungry, but he will have ups and downs. I just think that this down period this year was too long and was worth of criticism. I just backed him because I saw a player who got to the chances. He was there, you know, he was in the right place, but wasn't there maybe mentality, physically, whatever. So as long as you get to the chances, I'm fine. And I think that's my problem with Dzeko in the second half of the season, right? Because I think he's not getting there in the same way. He's not creating it in the same way. And that makes a difference. So, yeah, I think Lautaro is having a really good season. Numbers-wise, is better than it's been.
Yeah.
But he should be criticized for that period. But with that said, I also understand that he's not the guy who scores in 25 different games a season.
Yeah, and I think I've realized where you know, Sunite was saying he needs to stop playing as the 9. I've realized he's not. I always thought he was a second striker, like segunda punta. This guy, as you said, like this guy, he's not as efficient maybe he should be, but he is a number 9. Like Spalletti used to say that's why he never played him and Icardi together, because he said they're too similar. You know, the Argentina coach, he always plays him up front alone as a number 9 in a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, wherever they play.
I think his qualities
Like
are more suited for that kind of work, and I kind of agree that he's not a traditional 9 and he's not supposed to be a traditional 9, but I think the qualities that he has, he's good on the head, he has a good shot, he has good technique, but he also gets the flicks and the moves when he's in the box. When he's on the middle of the field or 30 meters from goal, he's not dangerous.
He does. Yeah, he can't dribble
yeah.
past someone. He doesn't have the final pass. He doesn't have the assist in him, so he can't be a segunda punta.
That's what he's supposed to be, and I think he makes more sense in the box, in kind of a hybrid way.
Yeah. But I agree in terms of that. I think you should tell Dzeko, like, just stop coming back to midfield and just, if you're playing, just like stay up, be the like target man number 9, if you know what I mean, and then let Lautaro do more of the dirty work in between the lines.
But Dzeko is like attacking playmaker,
he wants to do everything.
And I think when he's at his best, that's what he does best. I just want him to win more duels. Like, it bothers me when I see this big guy, monster, super professional, and you can't even throw a long ball at him. I mean, Zlatan is broken, but he wins his duels, and I want Dzeko to be able to do that, and I think we can expect that. And I think that's the only thing I'm disappointed with Dzeko, because I knew he misses chances. This I have always known.
Oh yeah. That's the one thing we know. Like, Dzeko consistently in his career.
That's that. He will do that. I'm okay with that. But I want him to win duels, and tomorrow I expect him to do that. So, yeah. You're everywhere, they say.
You're is that what it means? Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Some Swedish love in the house for Sia. And then going back to our lineup, everywhere else is pretty much, like, as I said, decided, isn't it? Like, there's no like, maybe
Bastoni wasn't great last game against Juve. He risked a couple of big situations, and coming back from injury, I don't like Di Marco in a game like this.
No.
I think
he has to be D'Ambrosio, right?
Yeah, I think he is very good when it comes to the games against Empoli and stuff, where you need more attacking threat, like another attacking threat. But in a game like this, as you said, I think D'Ambrosio is the guy who makes sense, and I would want De Vrij to wake up and be the guy we want him to be. But Bastoni, I put a question mark on Bastoni, because if he recovers for the game, he's probably going to start, but I don't think he was good the last time, and I really want to see someone who can handle Cuadrado.
Yeah, it was against Cuadrado as well, wasn't it? One of those ones where in the corner he just got past him. Yeah, and where would you play? Like, I always, even Skriniar recently, sometimes he's been moved to the left in the second half after substitutions, but he doesn't look right to me. Like, I would rather play D'Ambrosio on the left.
Yeah, I agree. I think Skriniar is good where he is, but
What about De Vrij, bro? Like, with De Vrij, he's really had like a dip this season, hasn't he? Like, he's starting to, like, I don't even know if this is our best 3 back anymore, because I feel like we performed quite well when D'Ambrosio stepped in and Skriniar moved to the middle.
Yeah. I think the best defensive displays came with that. I mean, D'Ambrosio had Mane in his pocket, and then he didn't start against Fiorentina, which is a bit strange for me. I think D'Ambrosio deserved to start more, and he's also good in attack. Like, he ends up in the box and does stuff randomly that is good. I think De Vrij, quality-wise, of course, is better because he has a good foot and he's a big guy still. I just think that he's doing too many mistakes, and you're not used to see a guy like De Vrij have that. You're supposed to have De Vrij in the team if he makes 1 or 2 big errors a game, and that's where I feel that he is. With that said, this is a final. I think if De Vrij starts, it's because he's going to be hopefully performing well. Don't think he was good enough against Empoli. I think that there's a couple of months now, even in the beginning of the season, where he wasn't doing well, and I think Inter did really well when he was gone. I mean, Ranocchia came in, D'Ambrosio came in, so but he will probably play and he will probably do well. I'm more uncertain about Bastoni in this game.
Yeah, you're confident about Vlahovic De Vrij battle.
I think I'm okay with it, but I don't think you can have one player on Vlahovic for the whole game because he will move across zones, and it will have to be Skriniar taking most of the battles because they occupy the same position. But if he slides to the other zone, it will have to be De Vrij.
Yeah, Lord Pigo thinks that De Vrij needs something strong from Amsterdam to open up. What do you make of him? Do you think it's his last season with Inter? Because it almost seems like he's playing like it is. Like, I know he has some stuff going off the field with his agents and stuff like that.
Yeah, so he had Raiola as well now. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
They I think everyone expected them to renew last year, and Raiola was guaranteeing that he'd bring in a good offer, but then they didn't renew, and now we have to see what happens. I think that he had this lawsuit against his former agents, right? I think they hustled him on some money, and probably that has been taking its toll on him. And I think if he's not going to stay and knows that, makes sense, maybe that he performs differently. I'm not sure what I'd make of it. Depends on who comes, because if you tell me De Vrij thinks that he's done what he can do at Inter, he wants to go to the Premier League, get a big money move, maybe to not the best teams, but maybe something outside, and you can replace him with Bremer, I'm going to say, okay, thanks for the work you've done. You've been a great guy. You've been a great player. See you soon. But if he doesn't want to leave, what can we do? So depends on a lot of things. I wouldn't cry if he leave, but I wouldn't cry if he stays as well. So it depends all on what the owners have thought and what the Inter can do to replace.
But do you think it's like he's having an off season, or do you think he's actually declining?
No, I think he's having some off games, and I think with Conte he was a lot better. But
he won.
I think Skriniar is a different player, right? I think he's a bit faster, so he can also recover from mistakes, while De Vrij is a bit slower, but is good positionally and a bit more exposed. So I don't think he's finished. I don't think he's declining. I think he's still a very good player with very good qualities, and I think there's a lot of good teams that would need to have him. But he's not having a season as the last one.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about that. But I just feel like, I don't know, he just looks a bit, he's never been quick, but he, like against Empoli, that second goal was just like, one ball over the top, and it just seemed like he, I don't know.
Yeah. Like, I'm wondering about the communication from behind him, but I didn't want to tweet that because I'd ruin Twitter. Yeah,
he's gone 42 minutes without mentioning. Oh no, actually, he didn't mention him earlier.
Yeah.
Look, no questions about Handanovic today in the live.
It's good. The chat is clean today. Yeah.
You almost seem sad that they haven't actually. But yeah, like that's in terms of lineup. Dumfries, Matty Doms. What do you make of the lineup there on the right?
I think Dumfries has to play. I think it was underrated that after the 2-0 goal Empoli scored, he kind of showed the the clapping, like, let's go, we have time. There's a lot of time. We're Inter, we're playing well. A lot of people forget he was captain at PSV, and what was he, like, young guy, 20 something. So no, he should start, and Darmian is there. I think Juve's right wing is a bit more dangerous than the left wing. I also think that his physicality is needed to be a pain in the ass for Alexandro and the guys, and Chiellini on the back post. So no, he should start, he should play, and I expect him to do well again. I think that after that game, when he drew the penalty on Alexandro, I think that he kind of, that like him winning the penalty away was a bit of karma. So he's there. I think he's good in the big games. He's been very good in the big games. So and he's a threat from set pieces and the back post. So absolutely has to play. Absolutely has to go before Darmian, who's done really well. But Dumfries is, next level this season at the moment. So he should play, and I think he will do well.
Yeah, no, I agree, bro. He's been good, but I know people are saying like, maybe he's not the most aesthetically pleasing player to watch, but he's quite effective.
Yeah, but I think he's improved so much. Like I think when
yeah.
he came and he started, he'd take the ball, you'd expect it to fly away 5 meters. I think now he's very much more clean with the ball, the technique, the crossing. I think he's improved a lot. So he's going to just get better. I think so many people believe that you're 20, 25, you're done as a football player, you can't change. But these guys, they improve so much. Like you watch Dumfries at the beginning of the season, at the end, it's a different player.
Yeah.
So they can still learn and improve a lot.
Yeah, I've said like defensively, I trust him a lot more than I did Hakimi. Like Hakimi improved, but he still had, he just doesn't have that. Like
Hakimi
in him, like,
is fast. Hakimi, he could make defensive mistake and he just recover it.
Yeah, but with Dumfries, I feel like we've actually got like a solid defender there when he's there. Like I'm happy when he's there.
Yeah.
Like the Sunil question brings me on to match prediction, bro. Like, do you think this last 90 or does it go 120 penalty? What do you think?
I think this will be decided in the 90.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have this feeling. I think Inter really wants to avoid 120 minutes. With that said, probably good probability for 120 minutes and penalties, but I think this will be decided in the 90, and I think Inter will edge it. But I'm usually wrong when I predict. So
I'm usually when it's these big matches I usually get it wrong, but I just see it going. I just see it being very cagey. I just see like a 1-1 and then going to penalties, to be honest, personally. You guys put your predictions in the chat. Let's see what you guys. Sean is saying 2-0, very confident. Oh yeah, this is usually something to discuss, but it seems like we'll see on the day who is it, because Allegri usually does it. Who do you think is going to be the guy who's up Brozovic's ass? I can't remember the last match.
No, it used to be Kulusevski, and
he was always the guy.
Last game, I don't even remember if Brozo played. Yeah, he did.
He did. He just came back from injury that match. I remember.
Allegri always has a man on Brozovic. I don't know who. I think that Inter is a bit different today, though, because I think that Çalhanoğlu is helping up a lot more in build-up, as does Barella. They kind of change more. So I think they're a bit more. The task is a bit more difficult to get done.
Yeah.
But it will probably Dybala in a way, and then one of the two midfielders, depending on who. But I think it's risky to man mark, like putting one man all the time on Brozovic.
I don't think it doesn't really work, does it? Like we've seen it, like Milan always try, and it doesn't really work that much.
Because then you have to lose someone who has to mark someone else, and in today's football you can't afford that. I think they will try to disturb Brozo in the build-up. Makes sense, but it should be one of the attackers who.
Yeah, I think it was more.
They don't lose a guy, and that makes more sense to me.
Yeah, 100%. Everyone, my goodness, everyone's like, Nicola, I don't know if you're saying that's 2-1 to Juve, but everyone seems to be very, very confident. Bruce Wayne in the house, 3-1.
Yeah.
Tommy 3-1. Jesus.
These guys are too confident. We have to overturn our predictions. It's going to be 1-1 and penalties. Yeah.
I'm leaning towards. Someone said, King Dorian with the Alexis winner. That would be nice. That would be a nice Alexis. Having Tuku scoring as well. Man, Tuku really needs a goal.
Yeah, it's 4 goals the whole season, and in 2 games. It's not good enough. He would need a goal or 2.
Yeah, well, we got some guys to balance it out as well. We won't win. Keston said. Hakan from the spot. Hey, give me a dodgy penalty, 1-0. I'll take that.
Yeah, 100. I think it will be very hard for Inter to get a penalty tomorrow.
Yeah. Who's the referee, by the way? I forgot to check who the referee was.
Yeah, I did. I used to read that, but it's became so absurd, like the comments and stuff this season. So I just don't bother.
Oh, it's Valeri.
Yeah, usually
I
does
think we
well.
won. We won. The only one game we had with Valeri was the Napoli game, and we won it. So
Yeah, I think he's done well in the big games he's had.
yeah. Well, yeah, I'm gonna go for a 1-1 draw in normal time, and then we take it on penalties. And yeah, that's my prediction.
I think with the penalties they will edge it. I think
Because of
Szczesny has
Szczesny.
became some kind of penalty specialist in his
That's
days,
true.
and honestly, I can't remember the last time Samir saved the penalty. He did save on Zlatan when he buried the rebound, but like a true and outer save, I don't remember. So tomorrow, I hope is the day where he pulls off a penalty save.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's had a few Handanovic where he's saved them, but then it goes back into their path.
Yeah, because I think he was like on his path to become like the greatest of all times penalty savers.
I think he has. I think he's got the record, doesn't he? Or does he need?
Probably.
I think he needs one more to take over Pagliuca or something.
But and then he just stopped.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, that's true. It's like he became like this penalty specialist, and then hopefully he comes through for us tomorrow. Let me end it on this.
He's been good. I have to
Yeah.
say that. I think so. I want to say this on the record, like
Okay. Whoa.
Okay, on the record.
Guys, record, guys. Put your recorders on.
So Samir hasn't been like exceptional performance-wise, but he has installed safety in the back three. He has had this feeling of safety when he's played. I think it's more or less since we were knocked out in the Champions League. Maybe it has to do with him playing one game a week instead of three. I don't know, but I think it's been different, and I was very quick on writing that because otherwise people massacre my mentions. But I really think his aura has been safer than it was during the beginning of the season, and so I think that has to be mentioned. Without doing anything exceptional or extraordinary or fantastic, I have to say that.
People are saying this is a deep fake.
Yeah, it's a face swap.
No, you're right, and especially obviously after the Radu Howler is like, we know that.
I laugh at people because they like massacre my mentions for the Radu Howler when I'm the only one who's praised Samir for his game with his feet for like 4 years in a row. Only thing I've praised, but yeah.
Well, that's what Radu.
The game is the game.
Well.
The game is the game. I know that.
Yeah, the game is the game. I want to end the stream on an interesting question from our Juve friend, because at the beginning, after Conte left, I wanted Allegri. I wanted Allegri to come in, but right now, who would you take between Allegri and Inzaghi?
I think where Inter were, I'd have taken Allegri because I think I would feel Inter would have won without any problem. As the season has gone, I think Inzaghi is having a better season, playing-wise, result-wise, football-wise, everything. But I think if Inter had Allegri, they would have won the Scudetto. I'm quite sure of that. So I'm good with Inzaghi if he stays and all that. I think at that time I would have taken Allegri. That's that. As of today, I will have I will take and keep Inzaghi.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'll take Inzaghi over Allegri. But at the same time, like today, Inzaghi, when his press conference spoke again, and he said at one point that, they played great football for 7-8 months. Then they had that period, obviously the 7 points in 7 games period, which, pretty much is the reason why we're in this position. And that he said he would still be, to get into this position, to get into this final, round of 16, Champions League, blah, 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 that he'd still lose some points on the path to where they are right now. And he's still talking about, how you mentioned at the beginning that after the beginning of the season, this is a good result. But I just feel like, I don't know, it feels like a bit like you're at Inter now. This is not Lazio. Like, I feel like he's not demanding the best from himself.
I think if that's his opinion,
Yeah.
then I don't understand why he didn't put Dzeko on against Liverpool away. Because if you brag about how you played Liverpool, right,
Hmm.
and you would have taken the drop points
Yeah.
at Liverpool away, even with one man less,
Hmm.
you had Dzeko, you didn't put him on. It's unexplainable for me, right? I think if that's your mentality, I can respect it, but then
Yeah.
I expect you to go with it 100%,
Yeah.
and go all in, and he didn't, and I was honestly disappointed with that, because even though it would have costed a lot of energy, even though Inter was one man less against the arguably top two teams in the world with the best coach in the world,
Hmm.
as of Inter, you have to go for it. You have to believe in one moment, especially with the player like Dzeko. Then, um, so that was unexplainable for me, especially if you today feel that you did so well and played so good and were so close. Then you should have done more back then. But because I honestly think that wasn't worth losing the amount of points if this was the case. I get it was, but and the team is what it is. But I think Inzaghi had some mistakes in the period, and I think the biggest one was subbing Perisic and Çalhanoğlu in the derby. I think he should have said, "No, you guys die on the field. That's that. You get injured, you die, you do whatever you want, but you are not losing this game, and you are not coming off. We have to keep them behind us. You have to keep performing, and you get a draw, and that's that." But it's in the past. I think he has to learn to handle the three tournaments in this way, and the national team players that he has never had at Lazio. Because
And we also need to give him better depth.
yeah, and that's that. And also, like, the schedule hasn't done Inter any favors this season. I think this asymmetric schedule has never been done. So Inter had zero rest from January to March. If you have one game against Venezia and then one game against Salernitana, you can kind of, get a draw, get a win, even without going 100%. So there's a lot of things that speak for him and few things that speak against him. I just think when the situation was as it was in July, August, with the depression and sadness and mentality of the fans and the players leaving and stuff like that, where Inter is today shouldn't be taken for granted, and that's a lot because of Inzaghi. Is he perfect? No. Has he done well? Absolutely. Even if he loses a Scudetto, absolutely. So I respect him, and I think he's the right man. I want to keep building on it, and I honestly think he can just get better because he's young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what we, when we brought him in, we know that we brought in a young coach. There's learning curve. He's not a winner yet, but maybe that's what we're hoping that he becomes a winner. And we've seen that, if Pioli wins the Scudetto this year, there's all those things about, being a loser and never being a winner, At some point, you turn it around. You gotta give people a chance. Yeah. Thank you very much, Paul Grant, for the super sticker. Very much appreciated for your generosity. That's thanks to you, Sia, I think, because you were dropping some bombs today. So, yeah, thank you very much for that, Paul Grant. Appreciate you. Sia, anything to plug? Anything that you want to say to the people before you leave?
No, let's hope for another title tomorrow for Inter, and for a good game, and that's that. The Inter Nation. I hope we can get some happiness, because I know these people will kill them. Like, I think the biggest enemy of Inter sometimes is the Inter fans. So I really hope that the positivity injection can come, and I honestly think that we should have some mercy on Inzaghi. Honestly, I'm reading stuff against Inzaghi that I don't agree with. I think the club and Marotta and Inzaghi has done well. And the pictures on the wall, they're from. Yeah, I will send you the link if you ask me.
Yeah, no, 100%, bro. And I watched the Curva Nord. They have a YouTube channel. I watched their live yesterday, and they seem like they have something quite nice prepared for tomorrow. So make sure you
one
look
of
out.
their best tifos was made in the cup final against the Palermo with the giant snake. I don't know if you guys remember. It was really cool. So Yeah, it's going to be a good game. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm positive. I really think that this team deserves positivity, and even if what will happen when our rivals edge the Scudetto happens, I think this team deserves a lot of respect for what they've done.
Yeah. Nice one, bro. Thank you very much for coming through. Both me and Sia predicted a Corto Muso victory for Inter. So hoping that it happens. Obviously, I'll see you guys for the post-match reaction tomorrow, which hopefully will be positive. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Make sure you're leaving a thumbs up
Take
before
care.
you leave.
Subscribe, thumbs up, everything. If you do thumbs up, Handanovic will come up big.
Yes, guys. Ciao ragazzi, forza Inter.